Have you ever looked in the mirror and wondered how your features connect you to ancient beings who walked this earth tens of thousands of years ago? In today's video, we're counting down 10 mind-blowing facts about human evolution you absolutely need to hear. If you're into intriguing stories that blend science with the marvels of our history, be sure to subscribe and join us for more captivating content each week. Number 10. Our surprising chimp cousins. One of the most stunning revelations in evolutionary biology is just how much DNA we share with other primates, especially chimpanzees. Believe it or not, we are genetically closer to chimps than chimps are to gorillas or orangutans. Yet despite this striking similarity, humans set off on a path of accelerated brain development, better dexterity in our hands, and a remarkable capacity for culture. Many scientists theorize that small genetic changes that affected brain growth led us toward advanced language, technology, and social structures. It's like having a twin sibling who grew up in a drastically different environment. Studying these differences doesn't just show how far we've come, it also points to what we have in common with our nearest relatives on the evolutionary tree. Number 9. The Great African Exodus. When we talk about humans spreading across the globe, it all begins with our adventurous ancestors leaving Africa roughly 60,000 to 70,000 years ago. They traveled through the Middle East, made their way into Asia, and ultimately reached parts of Europe and beyond. Along the journey, climate shifts and resource scarcity probably spurred them to keep moving, settling wherever conditions permitted. This trek wasn't a single migration event. It was more like waves of groups following different routes over centuries. This epic journey underpins the diversity we see today. It's a testament to humanity's never-ending curiosity and survival instinct. Imagine how brave our ancestors had to be, not knowing what lay beyond that next hill or mountain pass, only guided by their resilience and will to explore. Number 8. Our many human cousins. If you picture human evolution as a single line progressing smoothly from ape-like creatures to modern humans, think again. Human evolution looks more like a branching tree with various distant cousins who existed at the same time. Neanderthals, for example, roamed Europe and parts of Asia while our direct ancestors were migrating north. Then there's the Denisovans, a lesser-known group discovered only recently through DNA analysis of fossils found in Siberia. And in parts of Southeast Asia, there lived Homo floresiensis, small-statured beings sometimes nicknamed hobbits. The real kicker is that modern humans interbred with some of these groups, leaving traces of their DNA in many people living today. That means, in a very literal sense, we carry their legacy within us. Number 7. The mighty brain advantage. When you think about the apex predators on Earth, you might imagine lions, sharks, or eagles. But the real game changer for humans was our brains. Over hundreds of thousands of years, our ancestors' brains nearly tripled in size, granting us unparalleled problem-solving abilities, sophisticated language, and advanced social structures. This massive cognitive leap helped early humans outcompete larger, stronger animals. Not only could we craft better tools, but we also forged tight-knit communities that exchanged knowledge, improved survival strategies, and led to cultural development. Our brains became our ultimate survival tool. Instead of relying on claws or sheer speed, we harnessed the power of creativity, planning, and cooperation to carve out our place at the top of the food chain. Number 6. Cooking changed everything. Have you ever thought about how cooking might have shaped our evolution? Some researchers propose that the invention of cooking food reduced the energy needed for digestion, freeing up resources for brain growth. Cooked meals are easier to chew and digest, which might have allowed our ancestors to absorb nutrients more efficiently, fueling a larger brain. Beyond nutrition, cooking also became a social activity. People gathered around fires, forming closer bonds and sharing stories. It's likely no coincidence that once we began controlling fire, cultural and social development soared. So every time you're enjoying a barbecue or a warm bowl of soup, remember, mastering heat in the kitchen was a critical spark in our evolutionary tale. Number 5. The mystery of hair loss. Compared to our primate relatives, humans are relatively hairless, or at least we appear that way at first glance. This reduction in body hair remains a bit of an evolutionary puzzle, but a popular theory suggests it might have helped us cool down more effectively under the blazing African sun. With less fur-trapping heat, our ancestors could run longer distances, either to chase prey or escape danger. Sweating became an efficient cooling mechanism, giving us the stamina to outrun our prey in endurance hunts. This adaptation likely worked in tandem with bipedalism. Walking upright not only freed our hands, but also exposed less surface area to direct sunlight, making us more heat efficient. That subtle shift in temperature regulation might have been the difference between life and extinction. Number 4. The power of language. We rarely pause to consider how extraordinary language is. While many animals communicate, humans have refined language to a level that lets us convey abstract thoughts, plan for the future, and forge cultures. Some scientists trace its roots back to a need for social bonding when grooming was no longer enough to maintain relationships in large groups. In other words, as communities expanded, talking may have replaced grooming as a more efficient way to build trust and connections. Through language, knowledge could be passed down generations, leading to innovations that stacked upon each other, culminating in the complex societies we have now. The ability to articulate ideas beyond the immediate here and now is one of the greatest gifts our evolutionary path has given us. Number 3. Bipedalism's big leap. Walking on 2 legs might sound ordinary, but it's a profound departure from the way other primates move. This transition likely started millions of years ago in our hominin ancestors. Standing upright offered several advantages: less direct exposure to sun, an elevated line of sight to scan for danger, and the ability to carry items. However, this came with trade-offs, like making childbirth more complicated due to a narrower pelvis. Despite the challenges, the benefits of walking upright outweighed the costs, and it stuck around as a defining human trait. Bipedalism also paved the way for more sophisticated tool use, since our hands were now free to carve stone, gather food, and eventually operate smartphones. We've come quite a long way indeed. Number 2. The ongoing evolution. It might be tempting to think that our evolution ended once we developed the traits that distinguish us from other primates, but that's not the case. Human evolution is an ongoing process. For instance, traits like lactose tolerance, our ability to digest dairy products into adulthood, only became widespread within the last few thousand years, largely due to the domestication of cattle. Meanwhile, certain populations living at high altitudes, like in the Himalayas or the Andes, have evolved unique adaptations for oxygen usage. Even modern technology influences our evolutionary path, potentially selecting for traits that adapt us to new environments or lifestyles. Every moment we exist in changing conditions, be it dietary, technological, or environmental, we're continuing our evolutionary story. Number 1. We almost didn't make it. Here's a jaw-dropping fact. There was a point in our history when the entire human population might have dwindled to just a few thousand individuals. A severe climate event or natural disaster could have drastically reduced our numbers, pushing us to the brink of extinction. Genetic data suggests that all humans today descend from a tight-knit group who managed to survive and rebuild. Imagine that for a second, an entire species' future resting on a remarkably small group of survivors. It makes our global presence, diversity, and achievements all the more astounding. We went from near oblivion to walking on the moon, building skyscrapers, and connecting the entire planet through the internet. If that doesn't blow your mind, I'm not sure what will. Throughout these revelations, we see an incredible narrative of adaptation, creativity, and resilience. Our DNA carries echoes of world travelers, fiery chefs, devoted language lovers, and those unwavering individuals who refused to surrender when life seemed impossible. If this deep dive into our past has sparked your curiosity, don't forget to hit the like button or share with someone else who loves this kind of fascinating content. Thanks for exploring with us, and be sure to subscribe if you'd like more thrilling insights into our astonishing world. Who knows what mysteries we'll uncover next?